You ever notice how some people just can't wait to tell their business to the world? They're sharing every struggle, every plan, every setback, like the world is a diary. And I'm here to tell you that's dangerous. Not because the world is cruel, although sometimes it is, but because not everyone deserves a seat at the table of your life. Your energy, your focus, your dreams, they are precious. Guard them. Protect them. See, the moment you start handing your story out like candy, something subtle happens. People start seeing you differently, not always the way you see yourself. Some see opportunity, some see weakness, and some, they just see entertainment. And every time you repeat your story, that's it. Every time you give it away, a little piece of your power goes with it. You might think you're inspiring, you might think you're connecting, but a lot of times, you're just scattering your energy in the wind. Think about it. Your life, your struggles, your victories, they're yours. And like any valuable possession, they need protection. You don't let just anybody walk in and take your car without the keys, do you? The weakest. You don't hand your savings to every stranger on the street. So why would you hand your life story to every passerby? Every detail you reveal, every vulnerability you share, it changes the way people interact with you. Some will cheer you on, some will doubt you, and some will use it to measure how much they can take from you. Now, I'm not saying you should live in a bubble or hide from the world entirely. No, that's not the point. The point is intentionality. You choose where to spend your energy. You choose who gets to know what. You choose the battlefield of your attention. Because once it's scattered, you've lost control. Weakest. And control thing when it comes to creating the life you want. Your focus is sacred. Your focus is like a laser. And a laser only works when it's concentrated. You can't point it at 10 different directions and expect it to cut through steel. Same with your mind. Same with your energy. Every time you overshare, you're splitting that laser, diffusing your power. You think you're connecting with people, but more often than not, you're just letting the noise in. And noise, my friends, will kill your momentum every time. And here's something when people don't talk about: the psychological weight of oversharing. When you constantly talk about your struggles, your fears, your doubts, your failures, your mind starts believing them. Repetition creates reality. The weakest. You start identifying with the struggle more than the solution. You become a storyteller trapped in your own story instead of the author writing the next chapter. And that, right there, is a subtle trap. You've got to be the author, not the character caught in the middle of other people's opinions and commentary. Philosophically speaking, think about the great minds, the inventors, the leaders, the people who changed the world. How much they reveal before they acted? Not much. They protected their ideas. They protected their vision. They understood the value of solitude, the power of reflection, the necessity of focus. They didn't need applause before the work was done. They didn't need validation while the blueprint was still on the table. They understood that energy is a resource, and once it's spent, it's gone. Here's a practical way to see it. Treat your story like a seed. A seed doesn't sprout the moment it hits the soil. It needs time underground, hidden, protected, building roots. Only when it's ready does it break the surface. Oversharing is like digging up that seed before it's ready, exposing it to pests, to weather, to all kinds of forces that can stunt its growth. Protect your seed. Water it quietly. Let it grow in secret. And when the time is right, when the roots are strong, when the branches are ready, let the world see it. But until then, keep it close. Keep it sacred. And here's the final thing I want you to understand. Protecting your energy and focus isn't selfish. It's strategic. It's not about hiding. It's about multiplying. The less unnecessary energy you give away, the more you have for the things matter: your craft, your vision, your family, your purpose. Every moment spent explaining yourself, defending yourself, weakest, or justifying the moment stolen from building the life you actually want. And the truth is, nobody owes you understanding. You owe yourself results. So, if you take one thing from this, let it be this: guard your story like your life depends on it, because it does. Your energy is your most valuable currency. Spend it wisely. Protect it fiercely. Focus it relentlessly. And watch how your world transforms when your power is finally in your own hands. If perso, you ever notice how some people love to talk about what they're going to do before they do it? They announce their plans, their goals, their dreams, as if saying it out loud will make it happen faster. And sometimes it feels good, doesn't it? It feels like people are watching, and that gives you a little boost. But here's problems. But here's the problem. Talking about it too much doesn't move you closer to your goal. It just makes the world know what you're trying to do, and It takes the pressure off you to actually do it. The truth is, action is louder than words. Always has been, always will be. You can tell the world about your dreams, but until you put your hands to work, until you sweat, bleed, and struggle in silence, nothing changes. Silence isn't empty. Silence is preparation. Silence is power. It's where the real work happens. And the moment you start showing off what you intend to do, you risk losing the very thing that gives your work its strength: focus. Think about it psychologically. Every time you announce your goals prematurely, you're giving yourself a little dopamine hit. People applaud, they nod, they encourage, and that feels good. But here's the catch. Your brain starts to feel that the job is already done. It starts to trick you into thinking progress has been made when in reality, the work hasn't even begun. Action, on the other hand, requires discipline, grit, and perseverance. Action forces you to confront failure, to adjust, to grow in ways that applause never can. Philosophically, the greatest leaders, thinkers, and creators didn't need a stage to prove themselves. Before their results existed, they understood the value of quiet diligence. They understood that results, not words, are what define a person. When their work finally emerged, the world couldn't ignore it because action creates undeniable evidence. Words are cheap. Results are proof. And there's another dimension to this that most people miss, Lynn. When you stay silent, you control your narrative. You decide where and how the world sees your story. Oversharing before the work is done gives other people the power to comment, judge, and influence your path. And trust me, not all opinions are worth listening to. Some will discourage you. Some will doubt you. Some will even try to copy or sabotage you. The less they know, the less control they have over your journey. Silence keeps the power in your hands. Let me be clear, silence doesn't mean isolation. It doesn't mean you hide forever or refuse all connection. It means you act intentionally. You put in the hours when no one is watching. You craft your vision quietly. You test, fail, learn, and refine without the pressure of an audience. And when your results finally appear, they speak for themselves in a language louder than any speech, any post, any announcement could ever convey. There's also a psychological edge in action without announcement. People who constantly talk about their goals are often competing with themselves more than the world. Their focus splits between execution and performance, between action and validation. But the person who works quietly, who lets results speak, is free from that split. Their energy flows directly into creation, growth, and mastery. And mastery, my friends, is magnetic. It draws respect, opportunity, and influence without the need for self-promotion. You see, action is a discipline. It's a promise to yourself that you'll do the work even when nobody is watching, even when it feels uncomfortable, even when failure seems inevitable. Action teaches resilience. It teaches patience. It teaches that the journey is not about applause. It's about fulfillment, competence, and mastery. True mastery cannot exist in the presence of constant explanation or justification. It lives in the silent, persistent application of effort over time. There's a phrase I want you to remember. Results don't require explanation. The moment you need to explain your success, your focus, or your intentions, you've already started shifting attention away from the work and onto yourself. Let your actions be the language. Let your achievements be the evidence. And let the world catch up. Because the world always notices. It always takes notice of what is real, what is tangible, what cannot be denied. And here's the final truth. Silence and action are intertwined. One fuels the other. Silence preserves energy, protects focus, and guards against distraction. Action converts potential into reality, turning unseen effort into undeniable results. Combine them, and you create a force that's unstoppable, not because it's loud, but because it's loud. Because it's disciplined, intentional, and profoundly effective. So, if you take this lesson with you, let it stick. Stop broadcasting before you build. Stop explaining before you accomplish. Work quietly, act relentlessly, and let the results speak in a voice so loud the world cannot ignore it. That's how you harness the true power of silence. That's how you win without having to announce it. When the world finally sees what you've done, it won't matter how long you stayed quiet. It will only matter that you were consistent, relentless, and wise enough to let action speak louder than words. You ever notice how some people trust everyone with everything? They'll tell a stranger about their dreams, their struggles, their plans, as if everyone deserves a seat at the table of their life. And the truth is, they don't. Not everyone is meant to witness your journey. Not everyone should know your story. And not everyone has the capacity to hold it without judgment. This is where so many people trip up. They're generous with their trust, but trust is not a gift to be given lightly. Trust is a resource. And your story, it's the most valuable part of you. See, sharing selectively is about discernment. It's knowing who deserves access to your inner world, who can handle it, and who will actually help you grow. Think about it, mentors, close friends, people who have proven themselves time. These are the folks you share with. They don't just listen, they guide, they elevate. The rest can wait. Or maybe they don't need to know at all. And that's okay. You don't owe the world your story. You owe yourself progress, clarity, and peace. Psychologically, the people you choose to share with shape the energy around your story. Every time you let someone in, you're opening your mind, your heart, and your focus to them. And that's powerful, but it's also fragile. Not everyone has the maturity, the patience, or the wisdom to respect that power. Some will gossip. Some will doubt you. Some will unconsciously project their own fears onto your story. That's why selectivity isn't just smart, it's essential. You protect your energy by protecting your audience. Philosophically, this is about understanding the nature of influence. Your story is a tool, and like any tool, it has to be wielded carefully. Share it recklessly, and it can be used against you. Share it strategically, and it becomes a bridge, connecting you with people who can guide you, open doors, and accelerate your growth. The difference between a tool and a weapon is intention, and your intention should always be to build, to grow, to multiply, not to seek validation or approval. Let's be honest, not everyone wants to see you succeed. Some people want you to struggle because esteem makes them feel safer about their own limitations. And when you overshare with the wrong people, you give them a roadmap to your vulnerabilities. You hand them the keys to interfere with your progress. But when you share selectively, you maintain control. You preserve your focus. You ensure that your energy goes only to the people who add value to your life, not to those who drain it. Here's a principle I want you to remember: your story is a currency, not a commodity. You wouldn't throw money into the wind, would you? You get it? You wouldn't invest in people who don't have your best interest at heart. Your story works the same way. Every detail, every struggle, every victory has value. Spend it wisely. Invest it in relationships that matter, in mentors who will push you, in friends who will hold you accountable. Those are the people who will help your story turn into something bigger, something transformative. something that actually changes the course of your life. Here's the beauty of strategic sharing. It multiplies your impact. When you confide in the right people, they don't just listen, they amplify. The affordance, connections, and perspective. And perspective that you might not see yourself. They become part of your ecosystem of growth. And ecosystems thrive when every element plays its part wisely, intentionally, and with purpose. Oversharing, on the other hand, creates chaos. It floods your ecosystem with noise, with opinions, with energy that pulls you off course. Keep it selective. Keep it precise. Keep it meaningful. There's also a psychological edge to selective sharing. Weakest. When you know that only the right people know your story, you operate with confidence. You move with purpose. You act without distraction. You're not constantly justifying yourself, defending your choices, or seeking approval. That freedom is priceless. It's the freedom to focus entirely on action, on growth, on building the life you're meant to lead. And that, my friends, is where real power lies. Remember, life isn't about having an audience for your story. It's about crafting a life worth telling. The people you share with should enhance your journey, not complicate it. They should bring wisdom, encouragement, and perspective. And when you find those people, and you'll notice a shift. Suddenly, your energy is sharper, your focus is clearer, and your results start to reflect the quiet strength of strategic action. So, if there's one thing I want you to take from this, let it be this: don't share your story with everyone. Share it with the right ones. Protect your energy. Thus, protect your focus. Protect your journey. Treat your story like the powerful tool it is, and watch how your life transforms when every word, every detail, and every truth is used wisely and intentionally